going to take some pictures here in tradition with my Canon FTb. I hope you guys can even hear me. It's very windy.
We need to find a different spot.
Alright, well, let's find a different spot.
The crow.
Show them the moon. Is that a bird on the tip there? Let's go find another location. Want to find another spot?
Yeah.
I just love this building. I'm always taking pictures. Welcome back, everyone. That footage you just watched was a little outing I had to test out the Canon FTb QL. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the camera and, as usual, give you guys all the features and what it can do. So I hope you guys will stick around for the rest of the video because there's a lot more to come. So the Canon FTb QL was released in 1971. And it was released around the same time as the Canon F1, which would have been for pro photographers, and this camera was made for the more advanced amateur photographer. Even with that being said, it still comes packed with a bunch of features that I think is pretty adequate for even a professional photographer. Later on in 1973, Canon came out with an updated version of the FTb, and that was the FTb-n, which I have here. They added a plastic tip to the advance lever. They added a cover for the flash socket. The self-timer / stop-down lever is different than the FTb. And they also added in the corner of the viewfinder, when you're looking through the camera, you can see your shutter speeds. So the QL stands for quick load, because the camera comes with the quick loading feature. That means you can quickly load your film without having to thread the film into the take-up spool. So you would just lay your film across here, make sure the film sprockets are here on the teeth, and then you would just lay this on top of it and then close the lid. You would start to advance your film, make sure that this is turning, that's how you know it's caught on, and that's it. I mean, most of the hassle of loading film is threading it into that take-up spool, and that can be a real pain in the butt. So quick load was designed to take that step out. So the shutter speed dial has speeds of bulb and then 1 second all the way up to 1/1000th of a second. Like many other cameras, it has the feature of lifting up the shutter speed dial and turning it to get your ASA. And then also a nice feature around the shutter release button is a lock feature, so you can lock the shutter. Then over here you've got your meter on-off switch and also battery check. So with the battery check function, you would set your camera to a shutter speed of 1000 and your ASA to 100 for it to be accurate. And then you would hold down the switch towards the C, look through the camera, and if the needle is registering inside the scale, the meter scale, then you know the battery is good. Now the camera doesn't come with a T setting, time setting for long exposures, but in order to take a timed exposure, you would set your camera to bulb. You would set your camera to B for bulb. Of course, take your lens cap off. You would hold down the shutter, lock it. That holds the shutter open for you as long as you want. Of course, you do this on a tripod, and then you can walk away and time it however long you need the exposure time to be. And when you're done, you would just unlock it. So there's a way of taking timed exposures without needing the setting on your shutter speed dial. Now the meter itself inside is a match needle meter, meaning you would match the needles up as you change your shutter speed and your aperture setting to whatever settings you're preferring at that time. And in the center of your viewfinder is a darker square, and that's the area that will be metered. So you would aim that at whatever subject you're wanting the camera to meter. Now it is an all-mechanical camera, but you do need a battery for the meter itself to work. And of course it was made to use the old mercury cell batteries, the 625, but I use button cell batteries inside of an adapter, and you can also use the 625 wean cell batteries. Those work just fine too. I use those a lot. So for the self-timer lever, you would push the lever down all the way away from the lens, and then you'd take your shot and the timer would go off. You could run and get into the picture with your family or whatever it is you're doing. By the time the shutter goes off and the button comes back up, your picture's taken. So that's how the self-timer works. Now, this also works as a stop-down lever and a mirror lockup button. To do the mirror lockup, you would push the lever towards the lens and at the same time pull this lever towards the M, and you see it locks the mirror up. And then for stop-down metering, you would push the lever towards the lens, put this on the L, and then when you look through your lens, it actually shows you a depth of field preview as you're changing your settings this time, so your viewfinder will get darker and lighter as you change your settings because you're no longer shooting in maximum aperture through the lens metering. So this camera was given to me kindly by Bill Smith from the Classic Camera Revival podcast. You guys probably know who he is. He kindly sent it to me to use instead of my Canon TX because it has a lot more features than that camera. And I've enjoyed it a lot since I've gotten it. You may remember that I did a video where I changed the light seals in it when I first received it, and I'll put the link for that above. We nicknamed the camera Tina because of all the patina on it. So when he and I talk about it, we call the camera Tina. But so it's become a special camera for me to use for those reasons. My final thoughts for the camera, I think, in my opinion, the advance lever is really smooth, especially compared to my Canon TX, which obviously is a lower level camera. I love match needle metering, I guess because it was the first thing I learned on with my Canon TX, and it comes with a wide variety of lenses that you can use with the FD mount. You could get cheap off-brand Vivitar or Solagore lenses, which I have a couple of those, and they're very affordable. And you can also use FL lenses on this, but you would have to use stop-down metering for that. And it's not too complicated. Everything is located in a good position where you can easily change the shutter speeds. You can easily unlock your shutter button and advance all with the same 2 fingers. I would have to say it's probably become my favorite camera to take with me. If you've seen in the past on my website, I like to take pictures from my car on the way to doctor's appointments, on the passenger side of the car. I take pictures as we go by through the town to keep my nerves and my anxiety down on the way to doctor's appointments. So this camera, I think, is fast becoming my favorite one to bring with me because the meter is so reliable. And I'm so well accustomed to using that meter, and it's quick, and I really love the results I've gotten with it. Also, I found out that I could use the rubber viewfinder cushion that's on my digital camera, and I can take that off and put it on my other Canon SLRs and use it just fine, which is great because my glasses get scratched up. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. So thanks for watching the whole video through to this point. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button. That means a lot to me. If you'd like to see or read more about my reviews, please visit my website. That'll be linked down below. And I'm just going to leave you guys with some more pictures I've taken with this camera. And until next time, I hope you guys stay motivated and keep shooting.